meantime, let me ask you, how many of you are playing for the championship division? Could you put your hands up? Oh, like a third of the people. And who is playing advanced division? Okay, and who's playing beginner? Okay, good. My seminar is going to be about the second row of the game. Opening row and second row. So I assume that you guys know how to play opening row. I know it's probably not the case for the beginners, but it's fine. We can still run something out of second row. How many people, how many are you confident about how to play second row? Like, you confident, like master?
Close. Alex did an excellent lecture for women in backgammon.
Okay.
On common second roll errors. It's really comprehensive.
Cool.
So thanks to Alex, I'm confident.
Okay. Yeah, that's very impressive. You done homework. Good. But to me, second roll is very difficult. I mean, there are so many moves. Yeah. You know how many opening moves do you know? Like 15 rows, right? There are 15 different opening rows. However, for example, 4-3 can be played in different ways. Like maybe you can play split and down, or maybe you can play 2 down. So there are 2 ways to play 4-3-4. Or 6-4, you have 3 ways. Okay? So in total, 15 different rows, but there are actually 24 different moves for the opening rows. Then you have 21 different rows for the second row. So 24 times 21 is you have like 500, more than 500 different moves. And some players play, you know, like strange opening moves. So if you include them, there will be like over 600 different second row positions. So that's a lot of positions to remember. So I was playing yesterday, but I was very, very careful about second row because I'm not going to make a seminar, so I'll be very hard. And I think there's a one play that I wasn't sure, but I was lucky. I got it right. Are you ready? Okay. Yeah, it's very difficult without a monitor to do a lecture, so be patient a little bit more.
What was the one you weren't confident of?
Okay.
What was the move you weren't confident of yesterday?
So I was playing Mac on Geyer, and I was down to like 1.5 seconds. And Matt rolled 5-1, and he slot the 5 point. I think it was DMP or like 208, 208. Yeah. So he rolled 5-1 in the opening, and he plays down with a 5 and 1 to slot the 5 point. Then I rolled 6-3.
Sure. The stream started. Let me just do a brief introduction and we'll do this.
Sure. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We're at the Los Angeles Open 2025. My name is Alex Asagian. We're streaming with my good friend, Backgammon Super Grandmaster World #1, great guest, Mochy. He's going to discuss how to play the second roll of the game. Welcome. The microphone is here, and you just tap that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a good idea to turn off the phone now. All right, so I already made some introduction. We're going to talk about the second row of the game. Why we should run. Oh,
it's over there. It's on the other one.
Oh, wow.
It's over there, but they see exactly what you see. We're gonna try to fix that, but they see the same thing as it's here.
Yeah. That's a little bit.
We're gonna fix it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, second roll happens like, yes.
How'd you play your 6-3?
Hmm?
How'd you play your 6-3?
6-3, I played 24-15. I ran all the way, and it was right. You know, I was wondering maybe stay back on 18 and play down with the 3, but yeah. Yeah, so the second roll of the game, it happens every game. So you don't want to make any mistakes on the second row, or any major mistakes at least. And also, if you run second row, you can apply same theory or same rule or same sense of the game can be applied in the later stage of the game as well. So not only learning the second row, you can also learning the theory of the opening stage of the game. So that's why the learning second row is very important. As I spoke, there are 504 different second row positions, because there are 24 ways to play opening row and 21 different rows the second row. So 24 times 21 is 500 different opening rows. So I picked up 24 reasonable opening moves because I don't want to study the abnormal opening rows, like people might play 3-4 as a 2-up. Very rare to see it. So I didn't include it. Or 3-2, some people play 3 down and 2 split. Also very abnormal, not common, so I did not include it. But most of the normal plays are here, so I would say I cover 95% plus opening moves in normal occasions, at least in the open divisions. And objective of this seminar is I'm gonna show you the bunch of rules, on the second row, but remember the logic, reasoning, and the positional sense behind the rules. Just don't remember the rules, because you will forget, I will forget what the rule was, but if you understand the logic behind the rule, then it stays you, and you can apply even in the future, even after a few years, you still remember. And I also ignored mistakes within 0.01. It's very tiny mistake we can ignore. We can call it pi, so it doesn't matter. So that the rule can be, simplified, right? And also, there are a few exceptions. Even though we apply the rule correctly, there are a few exceptions that is over 0.01 mistakes. But let's accept it. Otherwise, we have to make so many more, sub rules and exceptions and blah blah blah. So all those expressions can be, studied independently, and you have to remember that as an expression. But the good news is maybe I think it's 5% or less than 5% as exceptions. So it's not a big deal anyway, and it's not going to be big mistakes anyway. And I have to thank to Jeremy Bagay, his excellent website about the mastering the second row. Basically, my entire PowerPoint is based on his writing. So yeah, basically I copied him. Okay. So I thank Jeremy Bagay, and I also read Understanding Opening Replies by Albert Steck. It was also excellent writing that influenced my lecture. So if you guys want to study even more, you can go to their website and study more. Thank you. All right. So here, I'm going to introduce Jeremy Bagay's 12 rules. Okay, but unfortunately, good news is from rule number 7 to rule number 12 is just about doubles. Okay, rule number 7 is just for how to play double ace. Rule number 8 is how to play double deuce, etc., etc. So rule number 12 is very simple, right? So, but I don't have time to run or teach how to play doublet. So in this seminar, we simply focus non-doublet replies, okay, from 2-1 to 6-5. And there are 6 rules. Number 1, hit any block outside your inner board. Number 2, play your naturals. number 3 hit rules on your 5 point and 4 points. So those number 1, number 2, number 3 is listed in order of the priorities. So you have to apply number 1, if not number 2, if not number 3. So there's the priorities. And number 4, number 5, number 6 is no order. So first rule, hit any block outside the inner board. That means, let me see how it looks. Oh, okay. It's a little bit annoying to look like this.
It is.
Okay, anyway, so this rule,
It's
yeah.
being streamed, so they can't hear you on the stream. So
Yeah.
please, if you can stand over there.
Okay.
Yeah, they see exactly what you
Is
see.
this a microphone here?
That's the microphone, but I don't know how long it goes.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's as far as it goes. But you can point with the mouse over here.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Just elevate one of the legs.
Sorry. We had some difficulties. But you can point with this.
Yeah, all right,
You'll
all
see
right.
it. Sorry
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
all right, no problem. I just like to use my body.
I know, I know.
But anyway, this rule means, this rule is the most important rules. But I know like most championship players and advanced players knows about it. But it means if your opponent slot inside of the board, or he has a blot and outside the board, or he has a blot like this, then you have to hit. That's rule number 1. Okay? Any blot outside your inner board, not here, but everything everywhere else, here or here or here. As soon as you see the blot, you have to hit, and that's the best play. And by the way, so this position 2-4, you hit with a 2, and what about the 4?
Up from the back.
Come up.
Move from to the 5.
Up from the back.
Yeah, play from the back.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so with this 4-2, you have to split with a 4 and hit with a deuce. And this is also important that most likely in the second row, you gotta play 1 from the midpoint and 1 from the backman. Then you are most likely safe. That's the best play. Okay, so we know we gotta hit outside of, as soon as you see the block, outside of your inner board you have to hit, okay. But that rule doesn't say how to hit, okay. So I'm gonna present this problem and next problem to how to hit. So 6-2 and 2-1, I know we're gonna hit, okay? So on the left hand side, you have to hit with an ace, and right hand side, you have to hit with a 6. Then what about the deuce?
Down. In the first problem, when you hit with the 1,
Yeah,
the 2 would be 13-11.
okay,
In the second problem,
yeah.
when you hit with the 6, you
Yeah.
split the backman 24-22.
Okay, excellent. Why?
Because I read Stick's rules also.
That's because you stripped the 8 point in the first one, right?
Yeah, he's
Right, so you
right.
need a builder.
He's
in the
right.
first one.
So if you hit from the 8 point, you have to play come down from the mid. And if you hit from the midpoint, then you have to split on the 24. But why?
In the first position, as this gentleman said behind, you've now stripped your 8 point.
Yeah.
So you need a cover
Yeah,
to make the bar.
yeah,
In the second position, when you've left yourself exposed to 6s, when he comes in, you want to split your back checker so you have outfield coverage as well.
yeah, excellent answers too. So what he's saying is, after hit with an ace, you have no spare on the 8 points, okay? So you have no cover from the 8 points, so you need to come down to add more coverage. So after 2-1, you have 4 and 6 to cover the bar point. But on the right-hand side problem, after you hit with a 6, you still keep the 8 point. You still keep the spare on the 8, so you can cover with 1 and 6. So it's unnecessary to add more builders. It's too much. So now you want to split the backman and it's good balance. You have already 6 and 1 to cover. Now it's time to split. That's the difference. Okay, so the same principle can be applied if you roll like 4-1, or if you roll like 6-4, a kind of thing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, problem number 2. Same rule. You have to hit outside, right? So you have to hit ace, or you have to hit the 6. And how do you play 5?
13.
Yeah. So
hit the ace
on the
point.
left-hand side, you gotta play 13-8. You need to add the spares on the 8 point. But on the right-hand side, you have enough men in the zone. You have a spare on the 8, so you don't need to play 6-5 down as well. So as a result, on the right-hand side, you have to hit twice, and you have like 9 checkers in the zone. So you have, not enough, but you have more materials to go for the blitz. So that's the difference. So far, so good?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so rule number 1 is very simple. You have to hit outside, okay? Rule number 2, you gotta play your naturals. Naturals are 3-1, 4-2, 5-3, and 6-1, and 6-5. Those strong rolls, you should just play it. Make those strong plays when you can. Unless you can hit, like number 1, yes?
Right. On the previous, if you hit a 3-1, do you still hit, or you make your 5 point?
3-1, I actually you should make a 5 point.
Right,
It's
so-
like exception.
Can you please repeat the question when they ask it next time so they can hear it?
Sure. Okay. So he asked me that if it was 3-1, would you still hit the outside, or you should make a 5 point? And my answer was you should make a 5 point. The 3-1 is just too strong to forego. Okay. So naturals easy. You just make as the same as opening roll. Is there any exceptions to this rule? Yes, there is. This is one of them. So the opener started with 4-5, split and down, and you roll 5-3. How do you play 5-3? That's a left-hand side problem, and right-hand side is a bonus problem. It's for the advanced players. It's actually a third roll. The black started with 5-1, 5 down and 1 split. Then white rolled 4-5. Now black rolls 3-5. So the difference is black has 1-5 already played. So there are force guide on the 8 point, and backman are split. So, but let's focus on the left-hand side problem, which is second row. How do you play 3-5? According to the rule, by the way, you gotta play naturals, right? Naturals for the 3-5, it makes a 3 point.
13,
Is
5.
this an
13,
exception
5.
here?
13, 5.
Yes.
13, 5.
Okay, yeah, right, you're right. Now you gotta hit. You have to hit. You gotta unstack the midpoint and try to catch up in the development and the lace. Because if you simply make a 3 point, he could make a 5 point, or he could run, or he could roll some other numbers. Maybe make the bar point, make the 5 point, make a 4 point. There are so many good numbers, so you have to take it away, and you have to hit rules and take advantage of his. He's developed faster, so you can't just copy it. You have to hit and distract him from doing more. That's the left-hand side. So this is an exception, one of the exceptions in playing natural rules, okay? And the right-hand side problem is a bonus problem, but here, since you have already developed, like you split the back men, you have more men in the zone, so now you don't need to really hit rules. You must be satisfied with what you have and make the 3 point. All right. So we are already rule number 3. Hit rules on your 5 point and 4 points. And this rule is probably most important for beginners or intermediate because they don't hit enough. As soon as you see a block on your 5 point or 4 point, you have to hit. Yeah, I know you are afraid of getting hit back, but you can't just sit and wait as he's developing even further. So you have to hit 5 point or 4 point. That's important point, and it's worth fighting for. Okay, so I'm showing 6-3 here. You gotta hit with a 3, and you gotta come down with a 6. You know how many return shots I'm giving by playing this? It's easier to count how many misses.
Yeah.
Because so few. Okay, so 2-1 and 3-1 and double ace and double 6. So only 6 numbers miss, meaning that I'm giving 30 return shots, but still it's correct to give to hit the 5 point. Yes.
Why then not play 24-18? What makes 13-7 better than 24-18?
Oh, that's interesting. Why? Because if you do that, you give him 35 return shots. Okay? Now even 1-2 and 1-3 hits, right? Every 5 hits, every 4 hits, every 1 hits, every 6 except double 6 hits. And yeah, double 2 hits, double 3 hits, double 4 hits, double 5 hits, so everything hits. Except double 6 hits. So actually you give a less number to do this. Good question. Okay. So once again, we know we got a hit on the 4 point, right? But what to do with other number? For example, on the left-hand side, we have 4-3. We know we got a hit with a 4, but what to do with the 3? Do we hit twice? Do we split the backgammon, or do we come down? What you gonna do?
Comes down.
You come down? Nobody hits twice?
I'd like to hit them.
Okay, you're right. You should come down and adding builders to cover the 4 point in case he miss. You should never go to ace point with the second row. The only row that you are allowed to hit twice is 4-1 on the right hand side. So after hitting rules, you gotta play down from the mids, and only time double hit is right is 4-1 and go to the ace point, because the difference between left and right is after 4-3, your block is on 4 point. That's a point you wanna make. So you wanna stay there. You don't wanna go to the ace point, right? But on the right side, after you hit with a 4, your block is on the deuce point. This is not really the point you wanna make. So you're better off to hit twice and put 2 on the bar instead of trying to make the deuce point. Okay, but the left hand side, 4 point or 5 point is a good point to make. So you just stay there hoping that he misses and you make it.
If you have a 4-1 where his checker's on the 5 instead of the 2, then what do you do?
I can't hear.
If you have the same 4-1 but his checker is on the 5 instead of his 2, do you still double hit, or do you stay with
Excellent
the 5?
question, excellent question. So he's asking me if the block, his block is on the 5 point, and I roll the 4-1. Now I hit with a 1, I'm not gonna go to the ace point, I stay there because I wanna make the 5 point. So I come down with a 4, and leaving, block on the 5, not on the ace, because I wanna make the 5 point. Yes?
Would it make a difference if you had 10 in the zone?
Okay,
hit
that's
twice?
a little bit too advanced. We can talk about it later. Okay, so we cover 3 rules. Number 1, you have to hit outside. Number 2, play your naturals. Number 3, you have to hit rules 5 point or 4 point. And there are 3 more rules. Rule for 6x, and rule for 1x, how to play 1x, and rule for others, how to play 5-2, how to play 5-4, or 4-3, or 3. Okay, so first of all, let's start with rule for 1x. So 1x rule is meant to be either split or slot. So for rule number 4 to 6, we know that we can't hit outside, because if we do, we hit, right? And we know it's not naturals, and we know we can't hit rules on the 5 point or 4 point. So possible candidate for 1x is you either slot on the 5 point or you split the backman. And as a result, the only time you slot is when he plays 2 down or he also plays slot. Otherwise, you have to split. So it says slot aces after the opponent slot or plays 2 down, otherwise split. This should make sense because you want to slot ace with 6-5, not after the opponent has split. Let's say if he split, then of course you don't want to slot because now you are giving a double shot instead of a single shot, so it's too much. Also, if let's say he made a 3-1 in the opening and you rolled 1x, like 5-1, 4-1, you don't want to slot because if you get hit, the damage of getting hit much higher because now you have he has a 5 point. So when he makes a point or he splits, and you don't want to slot. But when he 2 down or when he slot, then you also want to slot. Especially this position as an example, he started with a 4-3 and you roll 5-1. Now you really want to slot because his 4 is completely duplicated. Okay, so you're giving him a good 4, but 4 is good anyway. Think about it. 4-1, he can make a 5 point. 4-2, he can make a 4 point. 4-3, he can make a 5 point. 4-5, he can make a 5 point. 4-6, he can make a 4 point. You know, so basically all the 4s are duplicated. Even 3-1, he can make a 5 point. So, I mean, okay, you're giving a 4, but it doesn't really matter because 4 is a good number anyway. So similar, kind happens a lot of times when he makes 2 down. One moment. Yeah. Okay, so now we move on to the rule for 6x. This is a very simple rule. So 6x has 3 numbers, 6-2 or 6-3 or 6-4. Because 6-1 and 6-5 are natural, so you should just play natural. And 6-2 and 6-3, you should play step up and down. And 6-4, you should make a deuce point as a default play. Okay, there are lots of exceptions, but default play is for 6-2 and 6-3 as split and down, and 6-4, you should make a deuce point. And it is interesting. Let me explain a little bit. Okay, the opening row, there's a 6-4, yeah? And opening 6-4, you have 3 different plays. You can make a deuce point, you can run, or you can split and down. And those plays are equal. It doesn't matter which, you can choose, depends on your mood, right? But the replies, the running plays, 6-4 to 14, 24 to 14, decreases its value significantly as a reply. Why? Why it's so often wrong to run to the 14? What's the difference between opening and second row? Yes?
You're behind in the race.
Yes, good answer. Yes. In the opening, if you roll a 6-4, you're up 10 pips. But in the reply, if you roll a 6-4, you are not up 10 pips. You're probably up 2 pips maybe, on average, or 3 pips, whatever. So you're not up as much as in the opening row. So the value of running, the merit of running play is you're up in the race. That's why you want to choose 6-4 as a run. But in the second row, it's often incorrect because you are not up in the race. Okay, anyway, so 6-2, 6-3 is split and down, and 6-4 makes the deuce point is a default play, but we're gonna show sub-rules and etc. Okay? Important sub-rule is when he has builders on his outfield, like 9 point or 10 point, you want to pass it. Okay, run pass down or run pass your forfeit 8 point, meaning that if he has extra checkers on the 8 point, force checkers on the 8 point, you want to pass the 8 point as well. Okay, so when she has 3 or 4 builders aiming to make the bar point, you don't want to stay on the bar point, you want to run. You want to pass the builders, as shown in the left-hand side and right-hand side, okay? He has 2 builders here, you want to escape. He has 3 builders here, you want to escape. Okay, so let me show you an example. I'm showing you 2 different examples. One, white started with 1-5, and second one, white started with 2-5. Okay, one of them is clearly right to play 24 to 16. okay? And the other one is clearly right to, not clearly, but other one is very close to play 1 split and 2 down. Which one is which? Yes?
It's better to play 2 down when he splits with the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's slightly fewer shots.
Mm-hmm. Right answer, great. So on the left-hand side, it's clearly correct to go to 16 points, not staying and play 2 down. Okay. The reason behind is, so if you 2 down on the left-hand side, it gives him 3-6 and 5-4 and 6-4 to hit. So 6 numbers you are giving away, right? On right-hand side, it's too many. But on right-hand side, you are not giving away that much because, okay, you'll be hit with 2-6 and 4-6. So only 4 numbers to get hit. And also, noted that 6-4 is duplicated. Now, white can make 6-4. White can make a bar point with a 6-4 anyway. So 6-4 is a good number regardless. So on the right-hand side, left-hand side, however, you are giving 3-6, 5-4, and 6-4, and 6-5 to make a bar point. So technically, you are giving like 8 good numbers. And here, you are giving 2-6 and 4-6, and that's it, because 4-6 is duplicate as well. And double 2 and double 4, you will be hit, but those numbers are good roll anyway, again. So on the right-hand side, it's very small, but it's actually correct to 6 out and 2 down. What I'm trying to say here is when he has split with deuce, when he has blood on the 3 point, 11 point is actually a little bit safer than usual. Why? Because 3-5 is blocked. Okay? So when he has a 3 and you have 11, this guy is a little bit safer in general because 3-5 is blocked, so the only roll he can hit with 2-6. So it's a little bonus. Okay, problem number 6. How to play 6-4. I call it 6-4 special. Number 1. So I said 6-4, the default play should be make the deuce point. Well, actually, if you could hit the 3 point, you have to hit the 3 point. I'm showing 2 examples here. One is when white started with 2-5, the other one is white started with 2-3. And both of them are right to hit on the 3 point. However, one of them is clearly right to hit the 3 point. The other one is still right, but like smaller margin, which is clearly right.
The left side.
Right side.
Right side. Right side.
The right side, yes. The right side is clearly correct. Yeah, it's correct for both positions to hit loose, but the error margin is much bigger on the right. You have to really hit on the 3 point. Because, you know why? Because white has extra builders on the 3. So it's more important for the right side to take away his road. Otherwise, he's gonna use the builders to make a 5 point, 4 point, bar point. He can do a lot of things with the block, okay? So you have extra motivation or incentive to hit the 3 point. I mean, both of them are right to hit the 3 point, but I'm saying that you have to pay attention to the details. You have to pay attention to the builders of him. And this is, this theory or sense of the, game can be applied in many different stages of the game, stage of the opening roll. Okay, so 64 special, number 2. So I'm showing 4 different positions. First one, white started with 3-1, second one started with 4-2, now 5-3, and 6-4. And black roll 6-4. So which 6-4 is run and which 6-4 is point. I'm going to give you a hint. One of them, only one of them, is right to run. And the rest is right to make the point. Okay?
So say that when he's got his 5-point made, you run?
Yeah, and why?
Because it's a good priming point. You want to hop the made 5-point.
Yeah, okay, you're very good, thank you. So everything is point except 3 point, 3-1 and 6-4. While 6-point opening can be played in 3 ways, the bit tend to be a 2-point. The main reason you are behind the race, as I already explained. And if you take a look at the error margin here, so after 3-1, it's actually right to go for the race because you are still up in the race and you don't want to be stuck against 5 point. I mean, he started a good priming point, so you want to escape already, right? But as the point devalues to 4 point and 3 point, 2 point, he will be up more in the race and his priming potential will be decreased. So you have less incentive to go for the run. For example, after he makes a 6-4 with a 2 point, right? So he has no priming value whatsoever. I mean, less, not never be no, but less priming value, and he's up 10 pips already. So it doesn't make sense at all to go for the race. You are not even up in the race, and he doesn't even priming you. So the error margin for running with 6-4 after 6-4 is big. It's a big mistake, 6% mistake. And after 5-3, it's only 5%. After 4-2, it's like very close. It's actually you can run. And with 3-1, actually right to go for the race. Okay. Candace? Are we finished or
Keep going, please.
can we
Please
do
do,
a little
yeah.
bit more? Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I was given 30 minutes and it's already past 30 minutes, but we can do a little bit more.
31 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, but it's gonna be more like
It's fine, it's
10
fine.
more minutes or
It's
whatever. So the last rule number 6, rule for others. Not 6x, not 1x, but you roll 3-2, 4-3, 5-2, or 5. Okay, those default plays are split and down. Okay, like 3-4 like this, or 3-2 like this. Okay, but there are several sub rules and exceptions, and I'm showing you one by one. One of the rules, you probably well known, but after he rolled with 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, and you roll 5-4, 5-2, you gotta hit. You gotta hit with a 5, then you should split the other one. Or this one, you roll 5-2, you gotta hit with a 5, then you split with the other one. This play is served as a tempo play because he has many builders, so you wanna stop him from doing the harm. Okay, so disrupting your opponent's ability to make a key point and breaking the communication. Like if you put him on the bar, then he has to roll a 7 to make the bar point. If you don't hit, he has just rolled on 6 to make the bar point, which is a very important point. So you have to hit and you stop him from doing so. Again, I'm trying to compare 2 positions. One of them is clearly right hit the ace point, and the other one is tied. It's still right to hit the ace point, but it's very close. Which one is which? Which one is clearly right to hit the ace point? By the way, I'm calling this position as a 9-point builder special because when he has a 9-point as a builder, then something happens. All right, so which one is clearly right to hit a 5-point? Oh, sorry, ace point. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Why?
More builders.
Better
Or more
position-
combinations.
better position builders than I.
Yeah. Everybody's right. So on the left-hand side, it's correct, but it's very tiny margin, like it's tied with not hitting. But on the right-hand side, it's clearly right to hit the 5 point because the 22 point is under the gun. Now he has 3 builders to make the 3 point. And also, just saying that 9 point is better builder. So when he has a better builder, you have more incentive to hit and distract him from doing, making a point, doing some good things, okay? So whenever you see a 9 point, you feel like, oh, I have to act, I have to do something, okay? To emphasize that point, I'm showing problem number 9. So I'm showing 3 different positions. On left-hand side, he started with 1, 2. And in the middle, he started with 1, 4. And on right, 1, 5. And you're 4, 3, each of them. Okay? And one of them is clearly right, hit on the deuce point. And one of them is tied. And one of them is actually wrong to hit the deuce point.
Number 2.
I want to hear the answer from advanced players or beginners.
I think number
Yes?
2.
At number 2 is
The
the one.
middle one is the strongest.
Oh, middle one, yes,
It's
you're
the
right.
strongest.
Okay. So middle one, after 4, 1, and again, he has a builder on the 9 point. Whenever he has a builder on the 9 point, you have a good incentive to hit rules because 9 point is very strong builder. And as a result, this is clearly right, like by 3%. And after 2, 1, let's say white started with 2, 1 and build on the 11 point. It's still right, but very tiny, tiny margin. After 5, 1, he has no builders, so you have like much less incentive to hit rules on the deuce point. You not really want to hit the deuce point. It's like emergency play.
Yeah.
So after 5, 1, you actually should not hit rules on the deuce point, and instead you should either 2 up or split and down or 2 down, yeah, whatever, but not deuce point. Okay, I think I have 2 more positions. So problem number 10. So 3, 2. And 3, 2 default play is split and down. And I'm showing 4 different positions. After making a 5 point, 4 point, or 3 point, and deuce point, okay? And one of them is, well, okay, most of them are split and down, okay? 3 of them are split and down, but one of them is not. Which one is not split and down? Yeah, it's probably too easy. But everything is split except 6, 4, making deuce point, and 3, 2. But you should always split against point making, like 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, 1, because you don't want to be flying. However, after 6, 4, it's not a climbing play, so you are not be afraid of, being blind. So you have much less incentive to split.
Right.
So you should go 2 down and go for your own plan. So once again, if he has a 5 point, it has the best climbing value. So your incentive to split is highest. So the error margin not to do so is almost 4%, 3%, 1%, and actually against 6, 4, you should not split, but you should try 2 down. So I'm trying to say a 6, 4 deuce point in the opening is not a flying play. So you have to play accordingly. Okay, this is a final rule. So sometimes your opponent plays 2 down, and you also roll 2 down. Okay, there are 4 plays: 4, 3, 3, 2, 5, 2, 5, 4. Okay, 4 down plays. Okay, and he rolls down, and he plays 2 down. And should I play 2 down or should I play split? For example, white rolled 4, 3 and made 2 down, and black rolled 4, 3, and he can also play 2 down or he can also split. Okay, and the rules here is there's actually an order of the strength of the 2 down plays. the strongest 2 down is 4-3. Because apparently you have, best builders and you have most numbers to make, 5 point, 4 point, 5 point, or 9 point, or 10 point. So that's the strongest 2 down. And the second strongest one is 3-2, 2 down. And the weakest one and 5-2 and 5-4. Okay. Actually, so if you load same strength or stronger 2 down, you should mirror the play. But if you are inferior 2 down, for example, hero 4-3, which is the strongest. So only chance that you should also play 2 down is when you roll 4-3. But let's say you roll 5-2, that's the weakest. So you can't copy him. You should split and distract him from making a point. Or you roll 3-2, which is also weaker than 4-3. So you should not copy him. You should split. Okay? Let's do some practice and wrap up the lecture. So just 5-4, white roll 2 down, and black roll 4-3. 5-4 is weakest 2 down play, and what you rolled is 4-3 is the strongest 2 down play. So you can actually mirror him because you have an advantage. Your 4-3 is stronger than 5-4, so you should play 2 down. Okay, in the middle, he rolled 3-2, but you also rolled 3-2, which is obviously equally strong. So you should play 2 down as well. You have to mirror because you have, equally strong or stronger plays, then you should play 2 down. And on right hand side, he played 5-2, and you rolled 5-4. That's a little bit complicated, but 5-2 and 5-4 are equal strengths, so you should still mirror what he did, and you should play 2 down. All right, so that's it about my seminar.
Thank you very much. Are you going to be signing books?
Yeah, okay. So Carol Joyko is selling a book. So if you are interested in buying it, buy it or come to me. I'm happy to sign it whenever you want.